Hey guys, Sergeant, you're back with another video. Today I am here watching 5 Scariest Things Caught at Night by Top 5's Finest. They make great top 5 and top 5. So if you want to go watch them, I will leave the, name of the channel in the description. As you know, I am watching this on a tablet. Once I can figure out how in the world I can use Bandicam and stuff, they will start to be hopefully on my computer. But I don't want to make any promises. Shit. Alright, let's get into the video. Once it loads.
Many strange things happen after the sun goes down, with nighttime making our imaginations run wild. These 5 scariest things...
I'm one of those people, so like if I go outside and I hear footsteps, my mind immediately starts racing. There's someone behind me, there's something behind me, I gotta start running. That's why I quit making going outside at night videos. If you want those to come back, just let me know in the comment section down below, and I will try to bring them back. Except I'm doing school now. Gotta quit rambling, let's do this.
Caught at night could be just that, but we think there's probably a lot more to these stories than meets the eye. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Possible haunting gets so much worse.
I'm fucking up.
St. John's Mercy Hospital definitely seems pretty spooky at night, as most buildings tend to be. But footage that's been taken from a security camera at the emergency waiting area seems to confirm that this is no ordinary place, and that the hospital is almost certainly haunted by mysterious spirits from beyond the grave. This kind of thing's been seen all over the place, and many people say that this kind of evidence is easily hoaxed. But it goes without saying that it's difficult to fake a video in what amounts to a relatively busy hospital, even during slower times of the day or night. This footage took place late one night, and seems to show some very paranormal activity going on over the span of a couple minutes. It appears to show a ghost or spirit tossing papers around with reckless abandon, with some commenters claiming it could very well...
Sorry, if you're wondering what the heck that noise is, I have a ceiling fan on in here because it gets really warm in my room. Especially watching these things.
...be a sort of paranormal tornado. It starts out fairly innocuous, with the front page of a magazine blowing lazily over before closing again, as if a light breeze was passing through the waiting area. A few seconds later, the front page opens up again, this time staying open, after being followed soon after by the rest of the magazine's pages all blowing around. Some of the pages even seem to hover in midair, as if they're being perused by some...
Also, I might leave out the last 2, but I might end up forgetting because I might get too caught up in the video. But I might do a try not to get scared challenge. If you want me to do that, put it in the let me know in the comment section.
Unseen person who saw something that caught their attention within them. After a little bit, the pages then go back to being blown around again, with the ghost stopping to seemingly read a few other pages before reaching the final page. Once the magazine has been thoroughly read, things begin to get quite dark. It then becomes clear that this is not a standard haunting at all. As the magazine is swept off the table and onto the floor, the real culprit makes itself known. It turns out that the security camera didn't capture evidence of a haunting after all, with the footage being taken on May 22nd, 2011. The same day, a massive tornado swept through Joplin and killed over 150 people during its stay in the close-knit community. We can't believe how destructive that thing was, and this footage sums up just how terrifying it must have been for residents to have to deal with such a deadly and powerful natural disaster. It certainly does look like what we'd expect from a seriously pissed-off poltergeist, with everything going from peace and quiet to a veritable war zone in seconds flat.
Yeah.
The storm whips everything up that isn't nailed down, with tables and chairs flying around the room much like they're made out of paper. It's tough that a hospital ended up getting hit so hard, putting it out of commission at the exact time when its community needed it most. This scene is really scary because it just goes to show how quickly these things can go from bad to worse, and we're just glad that nobody was waiting in emergency at the time, as they never would have made it out alive. Number 4. Mysterious roadblock. Roadblocks happen from time to time, and they can be expected to pop up during any highway trip. One guy's dash cam caught super spooky footage of what it...
I've actually seen this video somewhere. I can't remember exactly where I saw it. Or it might have just been a picture for all I freaking know. I might not have even seen the video, but I feel like I've seen this somewhere.
Initially appears to be a routine roadblock, but quickly becomes something that's quite possibly much more sinister.
Run him over.
After driving along without incident for quite a ways, the driver ended up coming up behind what appears to be an unmarked car pulled off to the side of the road, with a large cone placed directly in the middle of each of the 2 lanes. The placement of
either run the cone over or run him over.
Immediately suspicious, as it's located halfway through a light curve, and we can't imagine that any emergency services or police officers would opt to set up a block in such a dangerous place. We hear the driver questioning to himself what exactly is going on, but he still obediently slows down and comes to a complete stop not too far from the cones and mysterious vehicle. This all takes place at night, so it's almost pitch black and there are no lights to illuminate the scene at all. As he's slowing down, the driver notices someone coming out of the gloom towards him, but it's not a cop or any other official who steps out of the shadows. A hooded figure in baggy jeans, which are definitely not part of any uniform we know of, blocks his way without a word before walking menacingly up to the car window. His hood is pulled up so that it's impossible to make out the strange man's face at all, even with the headlights trained directly on him, and as things progress, a sense of worry begins to take hold. The driver's definitely a little freaked out, but plays it cool, asking the guy what's going on. The guy doesn't immediately respond, but keeps walking up to the driver's window. Our driver then asks again if he can help the guy with something, and finally gets a response. And that's about all he's able to get out before our driver finally loses his cool and just decides to get the hell out of there. He said he saw the man reaching into his pocket for something and wasn't about to take any chances with regard to what that object could have been. He assumed that it was possibly a knife or a gun and immediately put the pedal to the metal, which we think is about the only option he had. We assumed that the guy was definitely trying to rob him or something like that because the whole roadblock setup was just too creepy to be anything else. It also looks like a crushed can was sitting in between the 2 cones, which could suggest the stranger was drinking that night as well. We don't know that for sure, but we're glad things didn't end up worse for our driver, because that entire incident would have left us panicking and fearing for our very lives. Number 3, Slender Man Hotel sighting.
God damn it.
So, we don't know for sure that this video shows Slender Man doing his thing, but it's certainly creepy. The footage was taken by a guy working security at a hotel who noticed something strange on the camera footage at the top left. He then pulled his phone out to record the entirety of the sighting. It's hard to see, but if you look closely, you can almost make out what looks very much like a tall, thin man slowly walking around, heading back and forth across the screen throughout the entire video.
Nope.
The guard says that nobody was seen in the hotel at that time, and no cameras leading to or from that area ended up revealing anyone actually being there at all, suggesting that he witnessed some very strange and paranormal stuff going on. We would have been a lot more worried than he seemed to be, though, because Slender Man or any other strange stuff like that is definitely worth getting worked up about. Number 2, Bizarre Gas Station Tale. This story is strange and involves a story posted to Reddit around 2013. The guy was...
I'm going to leave number 1 out for you guys to go see that.
Working at a gas station, and both he and the owner ended up noticing at some point that inventory, mostly motor oil, was going missing during the night shift, seemingly with no explanation. They decided that...
Wait, did he say gasoline and motor oil?
Both he and the owner ended up noticing at some point that inventory, mostly motor oil, was going missing during the night shift, seemingly with no explanation. They decided that it could potentially be an employee named Jeremy, who was a bit of an odd duck. The owner was able to vouch for the employee that posted this story, allowing him to review the security tapes one day to ensure that Jeremy wasn't stealing from them. What the guy noticed was that the tapes seemed to be on a 1-hour loop. with the same customers coming in each hour and purchasing the same items before leaving. They would then show up 1 hour later once again before going through the exact same string of events every time. The initial thought was that Jeremy had somehow rigged the security cameras to loop the same hour of tape, hiding any theft that was going on. But the first employee who was reviewing the tapes noticed that the goings-on outside the gas station were different every time.
Do you want this?
Yeah. Just set it right. My camera cut out because I had to shut off my tablet for a minute. So.
Meaning the camera couldn't have been on a loop after all. At some point, however, it became clear that Jeremy wasn't who he said he was. During the security video at some point, his face suddenly appeared out of nowhere and filled the entire screen of the security camera, smiling like he knew the tapes would be reviewed later on. He then vanished without a trace, along with a bottle of motor oil that had been on the counter. Both were there 1 second, then gone the other, as if they just blinked out of existence. It turns out the FBI also showed up because this Jeremy kid had been seen before and freaked other people out in the same way. He never showed back up to work after his disappearance, and a little digging into his background suggests that he may have been behind a bizarre arson perpetrated by using motor oil in a Molotov cocktail that occurred in 1993, killing an entire family. This paranormal story keeps getting more and more strange as it goes along, and the OP is convinced that the FBI knows something that they're not letting on to. We think it sounds like Jeremy could very well be a ghost, but without any further updates, we may never know the real story. Number 1.
Alright. If you guys want to go watch number 1, because I'm not going to watch it on the full channel, I still want him to get everything. Damn, only for that. But, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.